I'm gonna start D20 test rolls. There were a bunch of net ones.
Oh, fun. That's fine.
It's fine.
Alright, we'll call this one Coasties. Go with Blood Oath until a better name presents itself.
Yes. Hope everyone's excited about the Blood Oath. Grim has not forgotten. We'll see how that plays out. I'm sure it's fine.
Oh. First, an announcement. I will be slowly transitioning my games over to Virtual Tabletop Foundry off of Roll20. Foundry is a bit more stable. It's still accessible by web browser, and if and when Coasties transitions, you will have lots of warning, but this is like the first preliminary, like, this is a thing that's happening with the other games, and will probably maybe happen with Coasties as well at some point. I've been playing with Foundry a lot, and it's a lot more user-friendly.
Cool.
User-friendly sounds good. I know nothing about it, but I am game to learn. I've heard good things.
You can switch your character sheet over so it's exactly the same as your Roll20 character sheet. It's just a little bit easier to use, a little bit...
But does it have dynamic lighting?
Oh, God.
It has dynamic lighting that fucking works!
Amazing!
Yeah, I like the concept of this being less of a pain in the ass than Roll20.
Yeah.
So...
Also,
I'm always down for that.
You would be connecting, like, to a private server and not to Roll20's computer servers. So we would have a lot fewer, like, well, Roll20's down. Sucks to be us. Things that would happen like that. Like I said, it's not going to happen immediately. I still have to, like, wrap my brain around what the back end looks like, but a lot of my games are transitioning over. And
I was going to say Rob is using it, right?
Rob is using it, and I love it as a player.
You have a subject matter expert. Excellent.
Yeah. I admit that as a player, I freaking love it. We've only had one person that was whining about it. And the whining was like, this one tiny thing isn't as obvious as I think it should be.
Look forward to seeing it once you know enough to show us around.
Yeah. But don't worry, we'll be running like test games and one-shots in it before I go, okay, and now we're transitioning everything.
Excellent.
It's going to be a rolling transition.
But
Vax. What? You know what, Vax? Just fine. You're in the kitchen now, I guess.
Maybe he'll bake some cookies while he's in there.
Sam made cookies, and that's the highlight of the weekend.
Excellent.
Other than Coasties, but the highlight of the weekend so far is Sam got a wild hair and made snickerdoodles.
that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Good work, Sam.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, who wants to tell me what happened last game?
So, we went to the Caring Hands School. Along the way, we had some more discussion. Ariane and Kiss finished off their promenade. There was, Bosun found a lot of things interesting, including a rendition of the old Dun Cow, and the phrase murder mystery was intensely interesting to him. So Grim may or may not have some regrets about allowing Bosun to report back on those things that he finds interesting. Also, we learned that the three proprietors of the tavern are very powerful wizards who are in retirement. And one of them is a very intense doppelganger for Alina. So we headed into Crypt Garden Forest. We began encountering signs in Goblin that were the literal translations of curse words. E.g., one of them said feces, one of them said intercourse.
Intercourse away. Which will never stop being funny.
Intercourse away.
Indeed. We did a little investigation of the Caring Hands School. Corinne and Bones checked it out for vulnerability points. There's an office that seems interesting. There's a lack of teachers that seems interesting. There's probably a basement. And then we heard Mouse sneaking up behind us. He would like to go back to Waterdeep when has a plan to do so with 3 really big potatoes. He took us over to camp. There was much talk of initiation and blood oaths. One of the kids at the camp recognized Bones and was like, okay, you're all safe. You don't have to do initiation. But I think Mouse and Grim may want us to do initiation anyway. We'll see about that. Also, Bones borrowed Kiss's portable residence, and we're using it as a stable. What did I miss?
I think that's most of the high points.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It covers everything I have in my notes, and we all know how prolific of a notes taker I am.
Yeah. Oh, and it's more flavor, but just that the kids seem to have a real good. While the traps around their camp are not very good, they do seem to have a real good theater production scam situation. That was very impressive. So somebody seems to have access to some sort of either very good. I was going to say stage magic, and I mean the kind that isn't actually magical, or somebody seems to have access to some actual magic based on random gusts of wind and blood smells. They were doing something that seems a bit above and beyond what would normally be available to feral children living in the woods. But whether it is magic or whether it is a vat of blood and a really big fan, who can say?
Shit, be right back. I'm sorry.
I know Eliana has a theory that it's actual magic, but she might just be gullible.
It all seems, yeah.
And we're inclined to see magic.
It all definitely all seems to be within the range of what cantrips could do.
Yeah.
Living room now.
But who knows?
Yeah, could be anything.
It could just be a vat of blood with a fan.
Yeah.
Where'd they get all the blood, though?
That's probably a fine question that no one needs to worry about at all.
Back.
Welcome back.
Sorry, I heard a large chunk of my dinner going missing.
Oh.
Hey. Why are
If you just
dogs?
cook a potato in your pocket, though, you won't have to worry about these things. Because then it'll be in your pocket and cooked. That's definitely how that works.
Yes.
Grim doesn't know.
I mean, pockets get warm.
I love Mouse.
He's not smart.
What an earnest child.
Tries.
Oh, and
He
it
wants
is
to escape.
It is the evening. It's evening. We got there after dark, right?
Yep.
It is the evening into night of Wednesday, Uktar the 22nd.
Alrighty. As you are guided into a small camp. I mean, medium-sized. It's definitely probably about 20 kids here. It's not insignificant. They vary in age, but most of them seem to be in mid-teens to younger. Probably your youngest kid is probably running around, who you see running around is probably 8. While it seems like the bulk of it seems to be in the 15 or 16 range.
Okay. And can you remind me how old Mouse is? I had
Mouse
10 or 12
is 12. Yeah, 10, 12
Okay.
area. Dreda, the girl who had hugged Bones, is about probably 15.
Okay.
Does Corinne
Does
recognize
anybody
it?
else seem to recognize Bones?
Sorry?
Does anyone else seem to recognize Bones?
A couple people definitely look up as she walks in. And Liz, you had said something?
Yeah, does Corinne recognize any of these as ex-nobles kids?
Yeah, roll me a perception check.
Okay. It's a 21.
21. Yeah, you do see a couple of tents that look good. Like, better than they have any right to be. And you see outside of one of the tents, a young lady. God, can you not load 18 million abs? Bridget Cromore.
Do you have a? I'm going to ask real quick. Do you have a free version of Roll20?
I don't. I was looking at the.
Okay, carry on. I was going to say we could fix that if that's what's slowing it down. But
No.
never mind.
I often use the Forgotten Realms wiki for various
Highly relatable.
things, and it has like literally 10 million ads on it. Like, if you would stop running so many ads, I would donate money to you. Just stop.
Yeah.
Delightful. What do I know about her behavior that may have got her in this particular situation?
Definitely a kind of a wild child, but not like wild, like skips out. Like, she's definitely like an instigator. She definitely probably has dueled before, 3 or 4 times. She's significantly younger than you, so you were, done with society by the time she was kind of entering it. But yeah, no, she's feisty. And not in like an Ilya, like, I'm gonna go make something of myself type of feisty, but in like a, like, I am here to, to cause trouble and make mischief and
fuck everyone
for my own entertainment.
Yeah.
Because there's the sort of noble girls that seem to run off and become adventurers, and then there's the sorts that are just become scandal papers. And she's definitely been regularly in the scandal papers.
Mm-hmm.
Her family is famed for brass work, especially musical instruments.
That's so specific.
Mm-hmm.
Delightful. Corinne looks a little bit smug at this discovery, but doesn't say anything.
Yeah, you see her outside. She of like a better tent than you would expect. She's kind of leaning, like, she's got like a little chair and she's leaning back. She's got her feet up, and has a pocket knife and is carving something.
I'm gonna stroll on over, just like a hand on my my rapier pommel, just casually. It's like, oh, I can't say I'm surprised to see you here, but I'm not surprised.
Glad to have met your expectations.
You got out, didn't you?
I did.
How long were you in there for?
Like 3 days. Food was awful.
It did not look all that impressive.
Nothing about it was impressive.
What exactly did they turn you in for?
I got caught with a few people.
Doing what?
Oh, all sorts of fun things. She gives you a wink.
There's a lot of different ways that fun things can go. Was it a sort of theft? Fun things, or...
No, not theft.
Is it party activities?
Depends on the sort of parties you go to, doesn't it?
Oh, lovely.
Grim would like to cast Detect Thoughts. And is just like,
Are you
like
sure?
it's standing well back, like not really like eyes, bangs and eye patch, not visit, like just sort of casually looking around, but
Yeah.
yes, is going to just skim some surface thoughts from this child
All right.
who thinks a great deal of herself.
Yeah. You know, like teenage makeout parties?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Corinne knows.
Yeah.
Does, doesn't she?
Via awakened mind to Corinne. She's not as clever as she thinks. and will skim this, like sort of direct their attention away from young Bridget.
Sure. So you look around and it seems to be, you know, a few kids in, like... All of the kids seem to be wearing what was at one point a uniform of, like, black slacks and, like, a green tunic. So, they're all dressed fairly similar, but all of them, you know, the tunics are in different shapes. Like, some of them have been out here a bit longer than others. You notice, let me see. Actually, can everyone roll me perception checks as you kind of get a feel for this camp?
5. Nope, 7. With
21 once
14.
again.
wow.
$14, 21, 7. Alright, Grim. It's a bunch of kids.
Sure is.
Sure is. Lenya, you pick up these kids seem to be fairly well supplied. But not in a way that makes it feel like they've been very specific about the supplies that they have gotten.
What does that mean?
Like there's a crate of wine sitting in a corner that no one's really gotten for, like, that just happens to be there. Like, there's, like, several rolls of fabric that are hanging out, like, leaning against a tent. Like, just things that would be shipped, but weren't necessary.
All right.
Corinne, with a 21, as you look around, you catch two things. This seems to be a pretty, like, they have not gone all Lord of the Flies on each other. Like, this seems to be, like, a pretty not well established, but at least a community. Like, kids are doing things. Like, they're generally, like, working. There is food being made. Like, older kids are kind of, like, keeping an eye out on younger kids. Like, people have jobs and are doing their jobs around the camp. Like, there is a kid scrubbing dishes. Bitching about it, but scrubbing dishes.
Yep.
So it seems like it's at least being run with some sort of intent. The other thing you pick up is that, much like Lenya picked up with the, some of the mismatched goods, some of the strangeness, you think you might have found a baby's first bandit camp?
Yep. Yep, I was wondering if there might be a smuggling ring going on here.
Like, just judging by from some of the stuff that they have, it looks like maybe they have intercepted a cart or two, or four.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, does it look like there's any one teenager that seems to be the head of the operation?
I mean, it looks like the older kids are kind of in charge. Dreda, the girl who is jabbering to Bones in Gnomish, seems to have directed a couple of the kids to do things as you entered, but hard to tell if there's any like specific leader.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Eliana was going to start addressing some questions to Dretta. I think she starts off with, thank you for welcoming us.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy that someone's finally here. Like, kind of figured you had forgotten about us, and she kind of like elbows Bones.
Well, we kept hearing about the school and figured we'd go check it out. What's going on over there?
She kind of sighs and shrugs. I don't know, but it's creepy as all hell.
Looked creepy from the outside. Creepy from the inside, too?
Look, I mean, we're not the best behaved kids, so when a bunch of kids start like really caring about like their grades and their future, she puts quotation marks around those, like all of a sudden, like kind of overnight even, it's hella creepy. Just super creepy.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. So
That's super weird.
yeah, real sus. So most
So
of
you
us
escaped.
most of us took off, yeah.
Anybody
How long
still?
had the... Go ahead.
Anybody still there?
I assume that there's still kids there. They haven't come looking for us, so.
How many days was the longest of your time there?
I think I was there 4 days, and that's pretty top of the mark. Trying to think. She kind of like thinks back, trying to like she's like going through like all of the bragging in her head. Rally was there. He was there 5 days.
Was it hard to escape?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty difficult, but they got wards up and shit.
Fancy.
I beg your
Did
pardon?
you escape?
Sorry?
How did you make your way out?
Well, they put us the newest kids on the 3rd floor in the dormitories. So, just scaled it.
What sort of wards, please?
There's wards around the perimeter, especially at night.
Grim glances at the others, including Bones.
Mm-hmm.
Where exactly? Against entrance or only exit?
On the windows.
Slow nod.
And the doors.
A second slow nod is done for the moment.
Not, however, on the chimneys. She kind of grins at that.
I was just about to ask how you managed to get out without opening a window.
I used to work for a chimney sweep.
Excellent training.
Still small enough to fit through some of the bigger chimneys. So.
Hey, the window. Did you say the wards were only at night or all day?
I assume all of the time. I don't know. I saw them go off at once at night, and I just assumed that they were there all the time and figured a better way out.
What did they do when they went off?
Sent to the principal's office. Got a firm talking to. Came back and decided never to do it again. And that they were going to invest in their future.
No, the ward, was it a loud noise or did something...
Oh, yeah, it was loud noise and some flashing lights.
Nods.
Are you all...
Where is the principal's office?
Oh, it's on the first floor, past the main staircase.
And
Do you
where's the
know
nearest...
anything about the principal?
Never met him.
Him, that's more than we know.
I mean, I'm assuming. I never met them, I suppose.
Yeah. Were there teachers?
Yeah.
What did they teach?
Most of them were trying to just get the... I was only there a couple days. Most of it seemed to be trying to get caught up on figuring out where all of us kids were. Some of us don't even know how to read. She looks at Mouse and kind of points him out. Some of us can read and write several languages. Some of us are noble kids who have had tutors all their lives and speak 7 languages and know how to fancy dance and all of that. So a lot of it was just trying to figure out where to fit everybody.
Did they tell you what they had in mind long term? What the... Once you cared about your... And like same air quotes as she was making earlier, grades in your future, what happened after that?
She shook her head. No, that was kind of what was creepy about it. No one was like, I'm going to be a smith, or I'm going to, I'm going to be the best damn waitress there ever was. Everyone was kind of like, my future is super important. Which is it's real vague.
Really
Best way to get supporters, honestly, and funding. Keep it as vague as possible, appeal to as many people as possible.
Yeah, so like, it's super creepy and vague, so I kind of just like, I don't know. I got a gut feeling, I bolted.
Teachers, do you remember any of their names?
She kind of leans her head back like, I not got a real good head for names.
Grim, sort of very, very soft laugh, like almost under their breath.
Yeah, there was one old one named Ethel. I remember her. She didn't like it when you called her Ethel, though.
What did she want you to call her?
Professor... Professor Beacon. That was yeah, I think her name was Ethel Beacon.
Grim is going to glance at, I think, Bones and Corinne as the Waterdeep locals. Kind of questioning, eyebrow raise.
Bosun shakes her head. Bosun shakes his head too. He hasn't heard of it either.
I love him.
Checks out.
Would Corinne have heard of this person?
You can roll a history check if you'd like.
Sure, why not? 23.
Yeah, no, not really.
Yeah, didn't think so.
It is a last name that exists.
Yep. Yep, Corinne just kind of shrugs.
Aliena isn't expecting to recognize the name.
Yeah, she wasn't real pleasant. Of course, I mean, honestly, I don't know what it is with some of these adults. You'd think that they'd realize they gotta have a tougher skin if they're gonna be dealing with us.
Has there
I think some
been...
of them just expect that. I think some of them just think they've been encountering mostly compliant children all their lives, and they think this is going to be the same.
Well, that's stupid.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Has there been a lot of turnover in the teaching staff?
She shrugs. Don't know. Like I said, I was there like 3 or 4 days.
That's fair.
Is there anyone here who would have gotten into trouble before you all left, sent to the principals or otherwise? I know there wasn't much time.
Riley was there the longest. He might know.
Which one is he?
She actually points over to a corner, like a modest tent that it looks like it was put up with some of the scavenged materials, but it's very well put up, like someone who maybe did a lot of camping with their family, like put this tent up. It's very well organized, like the brush is cleared around it, like it looks good. He's usually in his tent. He's our head of security, so.
You've got jobs.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta have
Oh,
jobs.
I'm really impressed with how well organized the place is. Whose idea was it?
Well, like, some of us older kids, when more people started showing, like, when there was only, like, 3 or 4 of us, it was, like, one thing. But once, like, more kids started showing up, and like, a lot of people didn't want to go back to Waterdeep, lest they get, like, pinched again, so us older kids, like, the 3 or 4 of us were like, well, we gotta, get some sort of organization here, because otherwise it's gonna be fucking chaos, and everyone's gonna get liced in 2 weeks. So.
How long have you been here then? In the woods, not at the school.
I've been here like most of the fall. I think I got here late summer.
Small but visible double take from Graham.
Eliana also looks her eyes widen a little bit.
I mean, I used to run a crew in the dock board, so like this is not unusual for me. In fact, it's kind of easier than scrounging for scraps.
How do you pick your targets? And Corinne kind of like nods towards one of the barrels of wine.
Grim's gonna drop into awakened mind. Your targets?
She laughs a little bit. Bones just kind of rubs her face. Like, oh my god. As Dretta just shrugs her shoulders. I mean, anyone who's easily spooked, I guess. If they look like they're kind of idiots. We watch them a little bit and like scout, and see if they're gonna be the type that are gonna be idiots. If they
That's where the wine comes from.
Oh yeah. We stole it. I don't let any of the kids drink it because it's a mess. But like, use it for like, if someone gets banged up or something, clean a wound.
Yeah.
Looks very amused at the description of the targeting people who look stupid.
But like,
Grim just looks mystified.
if they see my signs and they start like getting antsy, and then they're like, oh, maybe we should turn around. Maybe we should turn around, boys. It looks like, these woods be filled with goblins. Boo. Then
Oh, you're the one who made the little spooky skull stick things.
Oh yeah. That was me. That was one of my ideas. So like,
rather ingenious, actually.
Yeah. So if they're getting spooked by that shit, then we just drop down. We got a kid here. His parents sent him to wizard school before this, so he knows a couple of tricks, so we can kind of like set up the, like the spooky thing that we did with you guys. And half the time they most of the time, all of the time, really, they just bolt and leave their shit.
It was very spooky.
Yeah. So they leave their shit, we take their shit. It's abandoned
Well, if
property.
they abandon it, it's just recovery. That's all
Right.
it is. You haven't stolen anything that's just been abandoned.
It's abandoned property, and we recover it to put it to use.
Grim is now caught on and is fucking delighted.
Like, I mean, if there's like a wagon with like a kid in it, like we don't want to like traumatize anybody, but there's just some
Oh, no, of
fucking
course not.
some flaming fist fucks. Why not?
Why not, indeed?
Like, we don't even
What-
do anything. We just surround them and like look spooky, and then if they bolt, they bolt, and if they don't, then we just leave.
Is Flaming Fist another faction, or is that just
Oh yeah, it's a mercenary guild sort of situation.
Okay.
How long are you planning to keep on with this? As the wine and rugs pile up around your ears? Like, expression is curious, not judgmental.
She kind of shrugs a little bit. I mean, winter will be rough. I imagine we'll lose. I mean, if kids start getting sick or stuff starts going bad, we'll just go back to the city. But I don't think anyone's in a rush to go back. Not anyone who's still here.
What do you mean still here?
Like, some kids just, they come here and they stay for like a minute and then they dart off to go back to Waterdeep. That's a choice they can make, I guess.
Do you go back for them, any of you? Or is it only the ones who find their own way out and then stumble across you?
I mean, usually if they escape, they kind of tromp through the woods for a bit and set off one of our traps or something, and then we just pick them up. Or the idiots go to the main road and then one of our scouts sees them.
And the school, have they ever come after you?
Maybe? Not in any way that matters.
What do you mean?
Like, I mean, this camp's still here. Way I figure it, they've got plenty of adults. If they wanted to come crash the party, they definitely could. Or they could pay people to.
Grim is nodding.
But they seem happy to leave us well enough alone for the moment.
Which seems... and then sort of pause, glances at the others. Does that seem unusual to you? Or is it only that I do not understand how schools work again?
I mean, it seems unusual to me. It seems like some of these kids you wouldn't want to lose. Like, well, like Raleigh. I can't imagine his parents are thrilled. He's a noble kid. Then there's the Wave Silver youngest.
Nope.
And then Cromwell, who you talked to.
Bryn nods.
So they're not all
Those are our only noble kids, but
picked up off the streets.
no. I mean, I was, for sure. And a couple of us other ones. The way I figure it, the kids who came from the streets, more likely to, like, fucking bolt than to, try their best. Turn over a new leaf. Whatever. Also, the noble kids. Also likely to bolt rather than, like, turn over a new leaf. Because they are stubborn as fuck. Give them that. For all that they can be kind of lazy, they are stubborn as hell. Yeah. It's the middle class kids that don't tend to leave.
Yeah.
A noble child was picked up by the watch.
No, they're sent off. This one, and she kind of gestures in Bridget's direction. was sent off for some sort of unsponsored party shenanigan event type thing. It's the last straw that sent her here.
Yeah, something like that. She's Dretta snorts.
Send off the nobles to the same school that they send off the street kids to? I would have thought that they'd have a special school just for them.
Well,
Grim's nodding enthusiastically.
We're an example to what they should prepare for if they do not straighten out their ways. So it's good for them to see us and mingle with us so that they know they wouldn't want to end up on the street. So they should definitely turn around and be noble and good and whatever the fuck their family wants.
Are they permitted to go back then?
She just shrugs. I mean, I don't think Rowley's parents would take him back, but his parents are they're dicks.
I'm gonna glance at Corinne. Do you know a rally?
Do I know a rally?
Roll a history check?
Get my sheet. Oh nope, that's an 8.
You don't know anyone named Rowley now.
Nope. Shakes her head. Can't say I do.
Glancing at the tent that Jed has indicated, a couple, sort of head tilt towards that. Would you like to?
Wouldn't hurt. He's been there the longest.
He's one of the OG crowd too, so he escaped with me.
Right. Might go ask him a few questions if that's all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Excellent. Corinne heads in his direction.
Sure.
Grim is gonna trail along behind.
Eliana trails further behind.
Sure.
A little train. Bosun is, by the way, visible now.
Bosun is getting some attention, but like in a positive way. Like people, like some of the kids are definitely like trying to get him to play fetch. Like they aren't sure what it is, but they're gonna see if they can get him to play fetch.
Excellent. Grim will not intervene.
This sounds adorable.
Yeah. So you head to Rowley's tent. The flap of the door is pinned back and open, but he does seem to be resting in his bed.
What does he look like?
Sure. He's kind of got dark skin, dark hair, kind of got a lanky build to him. Like his feet like kind of go over the edge of the bed that he kind of commandeered for himself. His tent is immaculately kept, like military precision in that tent. There's even like a desk where you can see like a duty roster has been started to draw now. It's somewhere between a duty roster and a chore chart.
So Corinne approaches the opening of the tent. Knock knock.
Oh yeah, I'm up. And he kind of sits up and he kind of runs his hand over his hair and blinks a little bit. So you're the security threat.
Apparently. Just grinning very pleasantly.
Yeah, come in. I don't have a lot of seats. You can take that chest, though.
Oh, that's fine. I'll stand. No worries. She waves the other two in. Heard you were part of the...
Oops, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Just gonna post. There's no wall to lean against here, but Grim is doing the best they can of the
found
lean
a wall
the
to pretend to lean against. Yeah.
Look neutral and mysterious.
Sure.
Yeah, Eliana is also kind of taking back seat for this part. Yeah.
So, I heard you were one of the founding members of this camp. It's rather impressive how well it's run.
Yeah, thanks. I never thought all those lectures would come in handy, but here we are. He kind of shrugs his shoulders a little bit.
Lectures here or lectures from home first?
Home first, of course.
That makes sense.
He kind of gives you a lopsided grin. But I like it here better.
Understandably. If the result is that you sent up here, I can't imagine it was all that great.
little strict for my tastes, and my tastes still run pretty strict. He kind of motions around the tent.
Ah. Well, certainly keeps one organized, I suppose.
Everyone's kind of got to have someone at least to, crack the whip. Otherwise, we'd be infested with mice and lice.
Truly, it's remarkable how well kept the place is. Just a quick question. How long were you at the school before making a break for it? 5 days is what I've understood?
Yeah, just shy of a week.
Anything particularly unusual or strange you noticed during that time? Other than everything, apparently.
Yeah, like... So, there's a lot of strangeness. Kids going from, just... some of the worst dicks to suddenly caring about their very vague future. Kids learn how to read overnight. That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
No, I should say not.
Just... Some kids just dumb as a box of rocks. Coming in, next day, they're studying and talking about their future and how they need to be competitive with the grades. I don't. He kind of shakes his head. Doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it's really unusual.
Especially some kids. Every night there's some kids trying to sneak off. They leave. They get to talk to the principal. They come back. And they've had this sudden realization that actually they should be better behaved and take this opportunity that they've been given. That sounds like a load of horseshit to me.
No, it's a very convenient pattern. Who is the principal?
No clue. Never seen him. No, that's creepy thing number 5.
The teachers ever mention them?
Every once in a while.
By name or description or anything?
No, just the principal. Every once in a while a teacher would threaten to send a kid to the principal, but... I tried to get sent there myself, but... Dretta...
Did it work?
Yeah, Dretta convinced me that it would be better just to sneak out, low-key, rather than get expelled or whatever the hell they were doing, and then come back.
Did anyone ever actually get expelled? Or did they just, hand wave?
Commit to their futures.
Now that you mention it, I think everyone just committed to their futures, which is creepy thing number 3, I think.
What's number 1?
Only on 3 creepy things.
There's 5 creepy things.
Please tell us more.
Creepy thing.
Grim is holding up 5 fingers. There was the principal. And then there was that no one ever got expelled.
No,
so that leaves...
Yeah. So there's 3 more creepy things.
There's the learning how to read overnight.
Yeah, so, I put him in a list. He kind of blinks for a moment and, kind of, leans his head back, thinking, it's a creepy thing, number 1. Is that... Just how gung-ho all the kids were. Even, the kids who had been there a while, no one seemed lukewarm towards anything. Except the people who had been there only a couple days. All the people who had been there for longer. Creepy thing number 2. The wards are all set to keep people in and not to keep people out. I know wards when I see them, and so that's why I was able to warn Dretta not to go through the window. That's one of them. I expect it. It's my 3rd reform school, but usually it's on both sides. So either they cheaped out and don't care about anyone breaking in, or they're much more concerned about people breaking out than breaking in. Which is odd when you consider point number 1 about how everyone is real into their future, quote unquote.
One more.
The food was weird. I didn't eat it. Yeah, I ain't eating that shit.
What sort of weird place?
Well, like, dinner was normal, right? And breakfast was normal. But lunch was this weird, like, oatmeal stuff. Poor kids ate it up like fucking just spoonfuls, but I didn't touch it.
Is this ringing any bells about like mind control through food?
I mean, maybe?
Grim is visibly perplexed by the concept of oatmeal being a strange food to eat for lunch.
You're very strong, I see that. Are you flexing your muscles? Alright. I love you, go to bed. Night night. Night night, I love you. You gotta give hugs? Okay, come here.
Gotta make quota.
Good mood.
Alright, big squeeze. Big squeeze, big squeeze, big squeeze. Alright, go to see Daddy. I love you.
I
Mwah. Night night.
Did anybody here eat the oatmeal?
She kind of frowns a little bit. I'm real bad at paying attention to other people, I admit. I ain't eat it.
Just need to ask Bones to check in with her kids about.
Yeah, Dretta didn't eat it because Dretta doesn't like the texture.
You really have to get it just right for it to be palatable. If it's too soggy, it's just... ugh. Just can't do it.
Food is food.
Yeah, and there wasn't a whole lot of it. That's the other thing, is that like most of the reforms I've been to reform schools that like limit your portions and stuff like that in order to, you know, keep you compliant, but they were definitely doing that. Except for the oatmeal, there's plenty of oatmeal.
Oatmeal is cheap.
Yeah.
They have so many sponsors, why are they cheaping out on lunch specifically? Why not serve oatmeal for every meal?
He kind of shrugs. They got a lot of sponsors?
Sort of a look of recognition from Grim. Looks over at Rally again. When you say breakfast and dinner were normal, what does normal mean to you?
Oh, I mean, normal for a reform school. Like, light. Definitely, but, like, a couple of eggs and a slice of toast and whatever fresh food or vegetables they fry up.
So not oatmeal, alright.
Yeah, normal food. Small portions, because if they keep you hungry, then you're more likely to be compliant. But that kind of is, that goes with the, all the schools do that.
Not all of them. But Eliana kind of shakes her head. Anyway.
So we've got kids carrying from nothing to very dedicated to the nebulous future. Wards are intended to keep people in. Food was strange.
The principal.
The principal.
Principal. The mysterious principal that no one knows anything about. Except that it's always come back with promises towards bettering futures and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4.
And the learning to read. Very quickly.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna throw these idiots outside. Sorry. Out.
Grim is very proud of Corinne for counting, keeping track. They were definitely holding up their hands and counting.
Now I'm flashing back to the chat when Corinne was holding up fingers and Grim touched the fingers and Grim's like, no, this is for how many fingers am I holding up for how drunk are you?
Yes, we are now generalizing all the reasons that someone might need to count, might hold up their fingers to count on.
Yep.
I just loved that so much.
I'm back. Sorry. I was losing my train of thought with Vax barking in my ear.
Dogs are gonna be dogs.
So we have confirmed the 5 creepy things.
Mm-hmm.
Should we take a quick survey? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Should we take a quick survey of the camp to see who's tasted the oatmeal and who hasn't, just in case there's a pattern there.
Grim will nod and sort of addressing Rally again. Where did the teachers live or stay? We didn't. Did they stay in the main buildings or somewhere else?
A couple of them stayed in the dormitories with us, just to, keep an eye on things, make sure nothing got too crazy. But I think a lot of them stayed in the main building.
Is there a basement?
Yeah, it's mostly storage.
Storage of what?
Supplies.
Oatmeal?
Supplies, pantry stuff, the usual.
Yeah, Grim will look to Corinne and is Bones with us or did Bones stay with Jetta?
Bones stayed with Dretta.
Okay. Then mostly addressing Corinne, but if Eliana is Eliana certainly included, but if she has any opinions, you and Bones did not see. You said the main building looked shut down. Yeah.
Classrooms. There was an office. The kitchen, cafeteria. Couldn't see much else than that. But there could be central rooms that you don't have window access to.
Nod. Back to Rally. If we wanted a sense of the layout of the central building, including where the chimneys go, would that be you or would that be someone else?
Dretta's the one who cased the joint. I was mostly just thinking about fucking with the wards and trying to sneak out a window. Dretta was the one that suggested the chimneys. Other kids have escaped other ways, though.
Nods.
Not all of them are strong enough to shimmy up fucking 2 stories worth of chimneys.
Shall we ask around about the oatmeal then?
The next step was going to be. Thank you, Raleigh. This has been very helpful.
Yeah. I can tell from your accent you're nobility.
Well, she kind of looks down at her attire. It's like, well, it's not exactly subtle, is it?
Nah. So, if you could just not mention where I am or that I'm sure my father has existed or forgotten about my existence for the moment, but like, just don't mention it to him.
It's not a problem. I have my own issues with the structure.
Sounds good.
And Corinne exits the tent.
Sure.
Follows.
Same, exiting.
Quick survey of the camp to see who was eating the oatmeal.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
We do not have to RP every single conversation.
Sure.
All 18 remaining kids.
A quick survey of the camp shows you that most people here did not eat the oatmeal. One or two did, but they didn't like it. It made them feel sleepy, so they just didn't eat it anymore. Though those kids seem to be either... Those kids are definitely like the poorer kids, so it's possible that they were just full for the first time in their lives and didn't quite know how to deal with that sensation. So...
If they didn't get the same sensation from other meals.
Well, so the way after talking with a bunch of people, the clarification is that the serving sizes for the actual meals were fairly small, like okay, but kind of on the small end. And then if you wanted more food, you got the oatmeal.
Okay.
So if you wanted seconds at dinner, you didn't get seconds of dinner, you got seconds of oatmeal. Which was unlimited. So several of the kids several of your urchin-y kids were like, unlimited food? Yes, please. Mm-hmm. And so, inconclusive, maybe.
Okay.
Inconclusive, but also maybe sketchy.
Delightful.
We love inconclusive / sketchy.
Grim would also try to sit down with Dretta and try to get her to talk them through the layout of the main building so they could try to construct a map of where, I think specifically where offices and where anywhere that she suspects might be like teacher lodging is relative to the main chimney.
Yeah, so she tells you that there's 2 male staff and 2 female staff that stay in the dormitories with the kids. One of them is Ethel, who she definitely gave a lot of shit. However, any teaching staff beyond that, like there were a couple of only like 2 or 3 more teachers and a principal beyond that who she didn't know where they slept. She hadn't seen it. She assumed it was either downstairs or if there was a attic in the... She didn't know. She genuinely could not figure it out.
Is she able to, if someone was to hypothetically go in the chimney, is she hypothetically able to describe the way that they would get from the chimney to where the principal's office is?
She mentions that there is a chimney access in the principal's office.
Oh, delightful.
But she was not able to get she threw a rock down it, and she thinks that there might be a mesh or something in there. But if you want to risk it, you can certainly try. The flue's pretty tiny, though, so...
Grim is just grinning, but says is satisfied. We'll stroll back to Eliana and Corinne. There's a chimney to the principal's office.
Oh, that seems easy.
Corinne kind of looks at them and is like, you're not suggesting we climb down the chimney?
Bones kind of arches an eyebrow. It's been a bit since we were small enough to fit into a chimney flue.
That's what Dretta said as well. No, Grim wouldn't remember Dretta's name yet. That's what she said as well. She also said it was blocked with a grate.
So Dretta is, so Bones is small. Bones is 4'11" and probably like she's gymnast sized. Dretta is probably like 4'5" and similarly built. So
Grim is still grinning.
Bones is like, you want me to go down the chimney?
Not in particular.
Oh, good. I'm just saying that I don't.
You are not. You are not going down a chimney.
Yeah.
Look, it's still like just gritting, like shit-eating grit at Karen. Slow head shake. Keep going, just hand gesture.
Oh, your weird bird thing.
Oh, no. Well, no, they're still great. I suppose he could do the same. If we know where there is a chimney, then we know where there is a hearth. I suppose it's less clever than I thought it was in the first place, because we know what's on the other side of the window, so I suppose it would not need the chimney. Looking around to see if anyone is following.
Corinne has just tilted her head to the side and is just looking very intensely confused. And, like, mouth is, like, kind of half hanging open.
Cast a pleading look at Eliana.
Eliana can't help. She's kind of drifted off a little bit.
What exactly is going on in that head of yours?
I was thinking I could teleport us in.
Oh.
It's much less dramatic when I have to explain it, though. I suppose I could have set it up better.
Infinitely clear when you explain it, though.
I have heard that before.
Interesting. And she kind of crosses her arms and starts thinking. It has to be someone you can see, right?
It really doesn't.
You can't teleport us all.
I really can't.
I thought teleport did about 7 people.
I beg your pardon?
Teleport's a spell. It carries.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Not mine.
Okay, so you're not talking about actual teleport.
If you can teleport us all in, then be my guest.
I'm not a wizard. I just date one.
What if we just approached from the front door?
How would we get back out, I think is the question.
We could also walk out through the front door. We're not the target.
What about the wards?
We're not the target here. For all we know, those are only going to matter if you're trying to get out unnoticed. What if we walk up intentionally?
Are you on purpose suggesting that we do something that may cause a loud noise and flashing lights?
No, we walk up, we knock. We say, "Hello, I'm an Cathra. I come from money."
Oh, we have switched to the other form of infiltration.
It's least likely to set off those types of alarms.
I suppose it would be a shame if you got all dressed up for nothing.
Well, sneaking in places is never nothing.
Head tilt of acknowledgement. In the morning, then.
Be less suspicious that way.
I could place Bosun inside. Maybe if we can't get satisfaction through the front door.
Fair enough.
All right. Gonna look over my shoulder towards the cook fire. What are they cooking?
Appears
And
to
are they cooking it appropriately?
there's several small game that's been kind of cleaned and put on spits and is being rotated and roasted, which looks fine. And there's like a pot of like looks like a stew going on. Everything, food safety looks like it's pretty good. Bones kind of catches you looking, and she matches your look and nods her head. Kind of wrestles Dreda into a headlock. She can do, because Dreda's probably like the only one of the few kids in this camp that's smaller than her. I see you paid attention to something that I taught you. Dreda snorts. What mushrooms to eat and what mushrooms to sell? Bones just shakes her head and lets her go.
Is Mouse by the cook fire?
Mouse is, yeah.
Okay. Look at the rest of the group. Is there anything else tonight then, or do we just gestures at the camp in general? And then we'll catch themselves looking at Bones, looking at Corinne. Were you going to reset their traps for them?
Reset some of them. As long as it's acceptable that they're set properly.
Perhaps take one or two of them to teach them how to set them properly.
Indeed.
You talked to that rally kid. How organized did he seem?
Oh, the inside of his tent is terrifyingly neat. If you dropped a pin in there, you could find it instantly.
Terrifying.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, if they're claiming him as head of security, I suppose we should teach him how to set a proper trap.
No, it's for the best. If there's anyone else he wants to bring along, they're certainly welcome. And then I think Corinne heads back to Raleigh's tent to retrieve him and have trap setting 101.
Sure. You see he's gotten up and he's like doing like stretches and he's wearing some armor that fits okay. Definitely scavenged, but fits okay.
Gets the job done. Raleigh, you're the one who set the traps?
Yeah, it's not... yeah, I know, they're not great.
No, they're not. We're gonna have a lesson.
Oh, that's good. That's something I would like to learn.
Very good. Anyone else you want to bring?
Yeah, let me grab my apprentices.
Sorry.
No, it's great. I said it because it's funny. And he ducks off. And he comes back with one really large kid and one really small kid.
Right.
Like, one is like a kid, and you're like, obviously you are a kid, your face is covered in zits. Like, clearly you are a child. But, like, holy crap, you are 6'2" in a brick wall.
Yep. Puberty.
And the other kid is this slight dark-haired girl who's wearing like dark clothes, which is odd because it looks like at least half of it is like scavenged and wrapped from the silks that they stole. Because she's not wearing the uniform of everyone there, and she stands on his other side. He's like, these are my apprentices.
Pleasure to meet you both. Let's go. And Corinne will go walking straight up to each one of the traps, and then we'll walk through how to set a proper spring mechanism, show some strategies for like setting a pulley properly.
Yep.
And then like maybe like a really basic like sling mechanism.
And these kids are paying attention to you. Like, they are, while they definitely are little shits, they're definitely respectful and paying attention to you.
Yeah. Corinne is very much like, okay, you're listening, you're paying attention, good. Here's watch what I'm doing. Now you do it. Nope, you're doing it wrong. Nope, other hand. Other hand. Yes, there you go. Okay. Like, it very much expects them to keep up with her.
Oh yeah, and the two apprentices, one is Ray and the other is Bree. Bree picks it up quicker than even Rally does. But Ray is kind of he's doing his best. He really is. He's really trying.
Kiddo. Right. How are you at climbing?
Which one are you asking?
Oh, Ray.
He nods. I'm pretty good.
Very good. We're going to learn about nets. And we'll kind of walk through, like, setting a net trap from above.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In hopes that perhaps leaning more towards his...
Athletics?
She's assuming... Yeah. Yeah. His particular set of skills might be more inclined in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah, he does manage that pretty well, actually, setting the net trap up. Yeah, he's a good climber.
Good. Very good. So you'll be set in charge of placement, you, and then looking at Bree. You've got good fingers, you'll be good for the knots, and the fine hair trigger work. And then looks at Rally. How are you feeling?
I think my specialty is being kind of good at everything, so I'll let the experts handle the expert stuff and tell them what to do.
Excellent supervisory.
This'll help.
Certainly won't be worse.
I mean, good for food and good for strangers.
It's good to have things that will multitask us. And you lot have you've got the basics. You got the baseline skills, keep practicing, you'll get better with time.
Hopefully not too much better. I don't want the actual authorities on our heads again.
Well, as long as you're not using anything that's got deadly force to it, you're just using some basic things to spook people to ensure that you're protected. Not everything needs to be deadly, just needs to be unsettling.
Yeah, right, but I'm just saying that, like, bandits in the woods robbing everybody it's a good way to get harpers on your head.
Well, as long as you're not robbing everybody.
Right.
And as we said, you're not robbing them if they're abandoning their goods.
That's a fact. Alright, well, thanks for the lesson.
Yeah, of course. Use it well. She'll head back to the rest of the group.
Sure thing.
I think during that time, Grim would have gone to sit down by Mouse.
Yep.
How's the potato coming?
He kind of grins at you, takes it from the he had it kind of roasting next to the fire. And he takes a bite out of it. I'll have to get more potatoes tomorrow. I ate this one.
Wait, so it is now actually roasted next to the fire?
Yeah, he put it next to the fire.
Properly?
Yeah.
Okay. Sort of long pause. You do know that it would not have become like that in your pocket, yeah?
He shrugs. I think the jury's still out on that. I mean...
Let's find out if Grim is managing nuts. Yeah, yeah. Grim is not laughing. Grim is very determined not to laugh. I will give them that, but their expression is stuff. It is visible that they are trying very hard not to. the effort is visible.
I mean, it takes some time. I know that much. Obviously, it wouldn't cook as fast as it does next to the fire because it's not as hot. But if you cook things. You can cook things the hotter it is, the faster it cooks, right? So if it's not as hot, it'll cook slower.
I believe there is a minimum threshold of heat, though. Is there something I am missing? Do you have a pocket stove?
I have a warm pocket.
Will you believe me if I tell you that your pocket is not warm enough for what you are asking it to do at this point in time?
I think that we're going to have to agree to disagree on this one. Sorry.
All right. Can I tell if he is fucking with me?
Sure. Roll an insight check.
19.
19. He's pretty much talked himself into this plan, and he's going to have to learn the hard way. Probably with a rotten potato in his pocket.
Slow nod. All right. We will take you back to Waterdeep when we go if you would like to go, and then you can let me know how it turns out for you.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Glances over at Dretta, glances at Mouse. We are here. We have been... I don't want to say accepted, because we are not staying, but it does seem that we have been permitted to visit. Do you still require the blood oath? Is that going to be a problem for you that we have not?
I don't think so. It looks like Dretta trusts you, and Dretta, she likes to say that she's not in charge, but she's kind of in charge.
That happens sometimes. All right.
She's just real good at telling people what to do, and I don't know. That's how you end up in charge, I guess.
It really is. Sometimes even if you're not good at it, you're willing to do it, and no one else is. Grim is sort of quiet for a few beats, and then will stand fairly abruptly. Give Mouse just a very light pat on the shoulder, and we'll walk away.
Sure.
And while this is going... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Just putting on camera that while all this is going on, Aliana has found a relatively quiet space, and has also found some, gotten out her writing materials and has started doing some journaling.
Nice. Sure thing.
I was going to say then, because Grim was going to look around, can I just insight check Eliana and try to get a vibe check?
Sure.
Ooh, 23.
Yeah. She's feeling kind of rattled. And the journaling, and the vibe is that she's trying to ground and get back to herself.
Grim is just going to go over and we'll find a place to sit near her, visible, and we'll just sort of sit quietly.
Yeah, Aliana notices that Grim is there, finishes up a sentence. She doesn't talk to them, but she does she does set her writing aside.
Are you all right?
It's a lot more than I thought it would be.
In what way?
In the school and what's happening to the kids there and Rally.
What about him? That was points at the tent. Does correctly identify Rally's tent.
Yeah. Not about him, only his name.
Pause, slow nod. Then sort of turns the slow nod into sort of jerking their chin towards the journaling. Does it help?
A little bit. Just reminding myself when I am, where I am. This isn't the same. That it can be different. That I am not them.
Nods again. And I think is just going to sort of sit quietly. Unless Eliane has anything particular she wants to, like, Grim is listening. And happy to listen if she has anything to say, but I think doesn't know what to say other than that, so is going to revert to just sort of companionable quiet.
Yeah, I think she goes to companionable quiet as well. If it turns out she has anything else, we can always come back to this.
Indeed.
Alright. It's Corinne. You make your way back with your 3 apprentices. Roll me another history check, this time with advantage.
Okay.
You got a little bit more context as to who Rally is.
Hannah is desperately hoping that someone figures it out, because I want to know, but Grim doesn't care.
10.
10. Not quite enough, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's a great tragedy.
It's starting to bug you, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things, like, it's on the back of my, like, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I just can't, just can't figure it out.
As you head back to camp, and actually Rally leaves. He's like, alright, I gotta go do my rounds. I will monitor security threats that aren't you all.
We have very serious threats, apparently.
He kind of looks over to Bones, who is kind of let you guys do your own thing, especially the sitting in companionable silence, and is currently, like, tickling a smaller child, like one of the younger kids. And he's like, Clearly.
Is Rally the same, like, 15, 16-year-old?
Yeah, he's
older
like,
age group?
yeah,
Okay.
maybe even, like, on the older end of 16.
Okay.
He's definitely one of the oldest kids in this camp. One of those, like, if you squint, you can see the adult that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a headcanon of who his adult actor would be.
Amazing.
Is it Chris Evans?
Oh, no, it's not. I will show you exactly.
Yes, please.
A teenage version of this broody motherfucker right here.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is, but good choice.
But he looks like a teenage version of that.
Corinne actually is going to go go up to Bridget if she's still outside her tent.
Yeah.
I was going to lean over and just be like, quick question.
Yes.
What's his deal? Jerks her head towards Rowley's tent.
Oh, his dad's a dick.
Like, gathered that much. What kind of dick, though? Like, the whips his kids dick, does the secret murders dick, like, steals a bunch of shit dick. There's a lot of different things it could mean.
Head of the City Watch dick.
Uh,
And immediately, Ralnarth. Guard Captain. High Captain Ralnarth is the head of the City Watch. His father was also head of the City Watch. His father was also head of the City Watch. They're probably about...
And his father before him.
Probably about 4 generations deep on generals and heads of City Watches. She kind of sighs. Man. He is so hot.
Well,
And
if you...
so taken.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that was part of the vague hand gesture encompassing the camp.
I mean...
All you were professionals.
No. He and Retta have been carrying on since probably the school. Probably like the 3rd night at school. I would say like the 3rd night at school.
And which one is Retta?
No, Dretta.
Dretta. Oh, Dretta, sorry. I misheard that.
So, yeah, he's taken.
Well, the good news is there's more out there.
Right. Ray, I've been fooling around a little bit with Ray. He's nice. Not bright at all. But, bright's not everything. Bright isn't everything.
Yeah. Sometimes it's sometimes the window dressing is enough.
Right. This family are farmers, so they'd be really appreciative.
That's good to know what your options are.
Like, the face is a tragedy, but the rest, fantastic. And she just gives you a thumbs up.
Well, things can be grown into. The ages represented here are some of the most tragic in terms of what your body will betray you with.
She kind of looks down and just grins.
Depending on the circumstances, I suppose. Some definitely have more luck and fortune than others. But usually, things even themselves back out.
I'm good, because I have both luck and fortune.
It's always nice to be in that boat. Right, Corinne, I think we'll head back to the rest of the group at that point.
As her
Got much more information than she was.
What is Grimace rolling an insight check to they don't know what happened, but this is going to represent Grim's sort of passive, constant just temperature take. It's a 22.
I mean, the vibe is that got more than I bargained for in that conversation.
That sure was a conversation that just happened. Sure was.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Vibe check too, just for X.
What was it?
It's a 24, yeah.
Yep, same.
Vibe. Yeah.
That was a conversation that just happened, and I accidentally had I may have accidentally found a noble kid in my pocket.
Should we ask or should we very much not ask?
Please don't.
I gotta be right back. I gotta let the dogs in.
Okay.
Sure. Are we going to be able to leave tomorrow without ending up in one of your traps? A hole in the ground or dangling from a loop around our ankles? Or what else? Probably not with the poisoned arrows in the neck. You wouldn't have taught them that, yeah?
No, the non-lethal stuff only. It's far too young to be messing around with that, and the last thing we want to do is draw more attention to that. No, I'll recognize it when I see it. They're learning from my handiwork.
And were they able students?
In certain ways. Some are drawn to ropes, some are drawn to heights, some are in the middle.
Grim might have let's find out. Oh yeah, no reaction. Just sort of a solemn nod. Very kind of you to teach them. After destroying their traps.
If it wasn't going to be me, it was going to be someone else. Rather it be me who can actually assess what they were trying to accomplish and help them to make it actually happen.
Solemn nod, and we'll just sort of lean over and just very gentle shoulder check.
But in case you were wondering, Raleigh is the son of a long line of city watch heads.
Oh,
Aw. Sort of thoughtful looks over their shoulder. I suppose he doesn't know if it is the watch bringing children here. But if he was brought here too, it seems unlikely his father would have trusted him with secrets.
He specifically asked me to not mention to his father that he was here. The other one couldn't care less, it seemed. Gesturing towards Bridget.
Did Eliana have something there?
I think what she had was something. I think, yeah. So she'll add in. I guess that's might be why he hates the law so much.
That's a lot of pressure when there's 4 generations worth of expectations set upon your shoulders for a specific path for your life.
Yeah.
Anyone who... Actually, Corinne, you can roll me some sort of check. I don't know. Pick a check. Insight, perception, history, general whatever. I don't care. Just could be our
Insight sounds fun. Let's do that. We haven't done that one yet. 16.
Sure. Raleigh might be staying here and keeping a low profile for more than just need to get away from my family situation. Given that Bridget mentioned that he was with Dretta, and Dretta seems to show no intention of leaving.
Aha. Wonder if he's creating his own little band of bandits. Making a name for himself in a different way.
Ambitious. For I don't believe that would make sense for those who grew up on the street. There seems less precedent for that among you all, I suppose.
Well, we've met as valet, and she seems to do it more for fun than anything else.
And by herself.
Also that.
I meant the band specifically.
Well, no, it is a bit unusual. I wonder if he's one to tell Mert about. Not in a watch out for them sort of way, but there could be something promising there.
Little bit of a smile. Do you want him for your little band? Your apprentices that you would like to have?
Kind of like smiles a little bit back. Smiles a little bit back. Maybe. It's a bit early to be thinking of that.
All right. Well, we know where to find him.
Do we know where to find him? Corinne says, remembering that he's been apparently acting weird.
Isn't he?
Follow the signs that say intercourse on them and wind up here.
Yeah, Grim is looking around for Rally. Isn't he right? Is he visible?
No, he's left.
Oh, I was talking about Mert.
Oh. I did. That was.
Oh.
A little sheepish. And sort of visibly lightly reluctant. I said I would reach out. I don't really know what to say.
Ask him about the TNR.
I've never sent him a message directly.
Well, you know who he is.
It seems presumptuous.
You could also lead with, hey, there've been some weird faction behavior where people are getting substituted for other people. Do you know anything about a TNR mission? Because you only know the actual Mert.
All right. I'm gonna fish in my pack, pull out Say's map of north of Waterdeep, and a pencil, and sort of hold it out to Corinne, a little like still sheepish, a little apologetic. Would you mind?
All right. Takes the map, takes the pencil, turns it over on the blank side, and writes out the message that they will be sending. Which I will compose.
Grim looks relieved.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20.
This spell is the worst. Like,
It is. It's
it's the best, but also the worst.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Passes it back to them. Got a few more words to spare if you want to use them.
I'll probably use them by accident.
It's good to build in a buffer.
And Grim will cast Sending to Mert.
Sure thing.
Grim here. Some odd behavior with faction members being replaced or disappeared. What do you know about a TNR mission? If anything. And Grim will stop there if they, and I'm throwing it in a word counter to see if I...
Including the it's 23.
Delightful. They will stop after that.
Sure. You get a voice back saying, "You've been talking to Kiss. There's more going on there than on the surface. Bleh. You've been talking to Kiss. There's more going on there than what's on the surface and meets the eye. I want her to figure it out."
Interesting. Nothing about... And that's it?
That's all I managed to get out.
Interesting. And does it sound like Mert? The Mert that I'm used to talking to?
Yep. That is the Mert voice that I'm going with.
No, it's totally totally fair. I was just just trying to find out if there was a vibe, a weird vibe or not. Yeah.
A weird vibe.
Okay.
It seems pretty.
All right.
Seems on the up.
So Grim will say out loud. All right. Sounded like Mert. He said there's more. There's something under the surface of the, I believe, of the Kiss's mission, that he wants her to figure it out. Didn't say anything about the other. I don't know. I don't know what to make of that, if anything.
Well, I suppose we can ask him the next time we see him. Or Kiss also, I suppose.
Nods. Sort of distracted nod. Can't follow up now, even if I wanted. So.
Sure, he'll be just fine.
Well, at least he didn't say what TNR. So
There's that.
That's true. Well, I'm going to turn in, I think.
Are we sleeping here? Where are we returning to the barn?
I was going to go back to the barn, but if you had other ideas.
Grim shrugs. How far a walk is it? I know we walk. How far do we have any idea of how long it will take us to get back to the?
It's probably
where we left the horses.
Yeah, it's probably like 30 minutes away.
Okay.
It's just enough of a hike that it's valid to either not want to go or to go. Like, both would be factually correct choices.
We'll look around at the rest of the group. Does anyone have a preference? A reason either way, either to not go. I don't have strong feelings. I just wasn't sure.
I had thought to stay here, but there are the horses. It would probably be good to look in on them.
I did tell Mouse we would take him along. I don't... Are we alright with coming back for him in the morning? Tomorrow?
Of course. Yes, I think he's safer here than back at the tent with the horses.
Alright. Okay, Grimma's gonna, yeah. Grimma's gonna glance over their shoulders. Mouse still by quickfire.
Yep.
All right, awakened mind to Mouse. We're heading out for the evening. We'll return for you tomorrow before we go to Waterdeep.
Right. So he's like, his head, like he was like kind of doing that nod off thing. So he like, his head shoots up and he's just looking around like, what the fuck just happened?
If he looks at Grim, they'll lift one hand.
He'll just wave back like, he's unclear.
Grim will stand and sort of brush themselves off. They feel their point has been made. Is Bones with us, or is Bones still amongst the kids?
Bones is amongst the kids, but as you guys kind of stand up, she makes her way over.
All right, and we make our way back to the barn.
Easy enough?
Yep.
On the walk, Grim will drop in alongside Bones. Did you look into the Castlanters? Is trying to pitch. Let's find out. I mean, still may not be good enough with this crowd. 21 stealth for Bones ears only.
Okay.
Did you look into the Castlanters?
Yeah, they're creepy as hell, but... And I mean that quite literally, creepy as hell. But, yeah, I didn't find anything linking them to this.
Alright, thank you.
Mm.
And that's all they have.
Easy enough. Make your way to the barn. It's warm and toasty and well lit. It appears the horses have been fed. You don't know by who. And their stalls are all taken care of, and the horses are happy as hell.
Who did that, please? Like, gesturing at Heather's stall.
Bones looks at the stall and just shrugs. The tent has an unseen servant, so the tent did.
That's convenient.
I might sleep outside.
Well, they're just like regular servants, just invisible, right?
I would hate that also.
Well, the servant isn't going to clean up after us. Or if it is... Well... If Kiss lives here, then it can't be that bad.
It's unsettling.
Up to you. Corinne, goes and finds a spot to settle in the barn.
So there's a loft area above the horses, and several beds have been, they're cots, so they're not great, but they're definitely well made and fluffy pillows on them. They're comfortable.
Yep. Corinne there's 4 cots up there, I'm assuming. Corinne goes and takes the pillows from one of the cots and puts them on her own.
Easy enough.
Bosun makes a happy chainsaw noise and lands on the pillow pile.
Corinne calls down, "He's mine tonight, you know."
And every night, yes, I know.
You see Bones. She actually goes to the rafters of this loft and kind of finds a long beam and just stretches out and just it seems really improbable, but just stretches out and closes her eyes on it. She does steal a pillow from one of the cots, so she is laying on a pillow at least, but she's like lounging on. I mean, it's a pretty thick beam, but it's a beam.
Is Eliana still up?
She's still up. She's still in the tent. And she's finding herself a sleeping place there.
All right. If everyone else has gone to sleep, then Grim doesn't happen. Grim will just sort of say out loud, "Do you suppose she's going to fall off?" I think addressing Heather the horse.
I think Eliana isn't quite asleep yet, so she'll turn and say, "No, it looks like she's done this before."
Grim shudders. That's all. I love it.
Yes.
Just a pile of, like, a Princess and the Pea, but in a cot.
Delightful.
Just the best.
I'm not sure where Grim eventually lands, but I have a feeling they may get up to some stuff overnight. So
Sure.
I don't know yet what it's going to be. So that shouldn't be anything plot
Alright.
affecting.
I think it'll take Eliana a while to make it to sleep, but then eventually she does.
Oh, I just banged my elbow.
Oh
Oh
no.
no.
It has been a day. Y'all, it has been a day. Whew. Like every nerve in my fingers lit up.
Funny
Oh.
bone.
That's the worst.
Alright, so, as you head to sleep, you wake early in the morning with forest sounds outside, horses below, cats above.
Grim pretty promptly goes to check on the horses and see if anyone has their stalls have already been taken care of and they've already been fed.
They have been well treated.
And we'll head outside to get the cook stove, get the campfire going, and make coffee.
Sure. Who wakes up next?
Probably Lanya.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah. She wakes up. She pets Quiche for a little while until Quiche decides she'd rather be somewhere else. And then she stretches a little bit and wanders out.
As you're wandering out, you hear a soft landing of a cat. You look up expecting to see Quiche, but it's just Bones has rolled off of her rafter and landed on the loft. And she jumps down from the loft, doesn't bother with stairs. Gives a big stretch, heads out with you.
So you have done that before.
Oh, yeah. Reg installed in his extra dimensional portal he uses as a workshop. He just put in rafters for me because I like them. Did you at least eat dinner?
Very, very good of him.
It was destroyed by the time I got it.
Hold on. What do you mean destroyed?
I mean, it's been 2 whole hours. The eggs are effing nasty, and there's not much else to eat.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Alright, can you throw it away when...
Sure.
Sorry. Yeah, sometimes love language is installing rafters in your extra dimensional space for your cat girlfriend. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No problem. Yeah, so I guess so sounds like Lenya and Bones are wandering outside and Grim is already there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Just coffee, trail breakfast, the usual. I don't know what they're making, but it's not oatmeal.
Eliana sees them, says, "We are not going to help you with breakfast against your will."
Should certainly hope not.
Bones just
Would you like some tea, though?
I would love some tea, thank you.
Hand over, like a metal mug of tea.
I feel like this whole breakfast thing is a whole thing.
Doesn't have to be a whole thing unless someone makes it a whole thing by attempting to help with it. Then it's a thing.
Grim makes breakfast.
Grim makes
Is there already sugar in this or no?
Enough, but not too much.
Thank you. She takes a sip.
Grim is eyeing Bones and has like a bad idea, like I have a bad idea, and I'm trying to decide whether to follow through on an expression on their face.
Sure. Yeah. Bones has a passive insight of 1.5 million, so she's like, so what are you thinking?
I'm trying to decide if I should offer you coffee or not.
I can't decide if it's a good idea or not. We should let Lenya and Corinne vote on this.
That was going to be the deciding factor, I think. If we have a mission today, yeah?
Yeah, because I can do amazing things when I'm caffeinated, but
I should not disrupt the mission today, so you may have not coffee.
right.
Right, on the plus side, there is not a ceiling to peel you off of. On the minus side, I don't know what we would peel you off of if not the ceiling. Eliana gestures up to the sky.
Let's just say I would go very fast. And I can already go faster than most.
Would you remember to be sneaky?
I mean, yes, but you might not be able to keep up. I don't mean that in a derogatory way, I mean that in a quite literal, like, your human legs might not be able to keep up.
Grim is looking up at the sky as well. It's early still.
Yeah, it's probably like, 7-ish.
Thinking out loud tone. We do need to return to Waterdeep tonight, I believe. Or tomorrow at the latest, if we want to attend the fundraiser. So I was going to say we should get an early start, but now I am also wondering if we should attempt to arrive at lunch to see if we can get a sample of this oatmeal.
I'm not eating the oatmeal.
I was thinking more to take back with us.
Oh, yes.
Or I can leave Bosun, and he can attempt to. We can collect him later. It makes a difference because it will control whether I should go and wake Corinne now or not until later.
If they serve the oatmeal as often as it sounds, then we might be able to get some of it. No matter what time of day we arrive.
He said it was only for lunch, yeah? Breakfast
Or if somebody wanted seconds from breakfast.
Ah. All right.
If it's
I'll be
cooking in the
back.
kitchen all the time. All right.
I was going to pour a mug of coffee and head inside and up to the loft.
Corinne has a nest.
Yep. It is magnificent.
He's just staring at Corinne from a reasonable distance. But just like, wide cat saucer eyes.
I feel like Quiche stole the warm spot in the rafters.
This sounds correct.
And there were other pillows on Eliana's bed, right? Like Corinne didn't steal those.
No.
Okay.
Corinne's
Only
took the
unclaimed
unused.
pillows,
Yes, exactly. Still, it is magnificent.
There's
Yes.
one pillow that was tossed onto Corinne that looks like it was just like Bones went, yep, here's more pillows. A pillow
Grim
was
is gonna
sacrificed to Corinne, yes.
Scoop up the remaining remaining pillow from the cup that Eliana used then, and we'll go sort of coffee in one hand, pillow in the other, hunker down next to Corinne's cot, like sort of. We'll just sort of place the pillow, like sort of bop her very lightly with the pillow, and then we'll place it on top of her as well, and then we'll sort of like waft the coffee scent towards her.
She kind of makes a small, like, a mildly annoyed grunt at the pillow bop, and then just kind of like rustles a little bit. Another little grunt, shifts again, runs a hand over her face, shifts one more time towards them, turns her face on the pillow, and opens one eye.
Good morning.
Is that coffee?
It is.
Kind of flops a hand out and paws at it a little bit.
Like, hold the coffee mug in position, like help close her fingers around the handle. I did try to make an argument for not leaving for arriving at the school at lunchtime, but there were compelling arguments to the contrary. I do apologize.
Kind of props herself up on her other elbow. Opens the other eye. Pulls the coffee in and just like sticks her nose in it. Closes her eyes. Takes a big whiff. Pulls her face out of it. All right. Takes a sip.
I do regret your suffering.
Oh, it's so much suffering. You will make up for it later.
I always do.
And it flails her other arm towards their direction to, like, attempting to pat their shoulder. I don't know how successful she is at this.
like maneuver under the padding. Like we'll try like make it land on their head instead.
Yeah. Very good.
And is just gonna sit down with their back to the cot and just hang out for the duration of the coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, Corinne just goes back to, like, she's propped up on both elbows on her stomach now, like, just sipping coffee and still, like, making waking up groggy noises every once in a while. For, like, 10-20 minutes.
Yeah. We'll just
until she finishes her coffee and then is finally, like, sets it down. All right.
We have things to do. You know you like things.
I do like things very much. Heather, real quick, does the unseen servant tend to the humanoids as well as the horses?
It does seem to attempt to, as your coffee mug is, like, whisked away and then brought back. Full.
Excellent.
Grim is gonna would like to try to grab that mug from the unseen servant as it's removed. That's their job.
Sure.
But I could test that.
Yeah, I mean, if you try to grab it, it will let go. It does not fight you for the mug.
Yeah.
But, like, beds are being made around you.
That's fine. Grim just, like, makes an indignant sound. I will fetch more coffee. And then does.
Oh, I'm here for this. Grim versus the unseen servant.
I don't know. They are great fans of the Poltergeist. I don't know why they feel so differently about this, but they definitely do.
I feel like there's a
Yeah.
sad ghost making pancakes. Like, I made pancakes, everybody, and everyone's eating food outside.
Grim's not sorry. Take care of the horses. That's all I have until we're ready to go. I will stop talking now.
Yep. Yeah, Corinne does eventually make her way outside, bedecked in her her extra set of fancy clothes that she brought.
Sure.
Right, so we're just walking right in the front door of this place.
Actually, while Corinne and Grim were upstairs, that left some time that Bones and Lenya were downstairs.
It did.
While Bones looked at the coffee cup, or coffee pot, and went thoughtfully. Doesn't immediately go for it, but is very obviously looking at it as she kind of makes her. She steals some of y'all's breakfast that was prepared, but like also is like it's only the meat and some toast.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of looks to Lenya. So, Kiss and Uriel. You couldn't pick two further ends of the spectrum on that.
I mean, they picked me, so...
I mean, you have to kind of pick them too.
I do.
Like, you can't just, like, be like, I got chosen! Like, that's not how courting works.
No.
I mean, it can be. Like, I definitely, like, chose Reg and then just wormed my way into his life until he was too tired to say no, but that doesn't work on most normal humans. Just wizards.
Like, I like them. I don't know what comes next.
I mean, yeah, I am shocked at how you went from, like, the two opposite ends of the relationship spectrum there.
I'm thinking you mean the don't have a lot of relationships up beyond being a hermit in the woods on the one hand, and the already been married twice on the other.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I would like to have a cozy little house where we both shall live on one hand, and the I'll see you every couple of weeks when I see you on the other end.
Yeah. It's not the same. I think I might have already made up my mind, but I don't want... I don't know if I'm making the right choice.
Well, talk it out.
Right.
Put away the people. What do you want?
I want someone who I can be my whole self with. Who I can that I can be good and kind, but I can also be messy. For that to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want someone who doesn't mind some of the things that that are more difficult about me. Could be more difficult about me in relationships. Somebody who's kind too. Somebody who I can also have some fun with. Somebody who likes the things that I do, who doesn't have to be the same as me, but that I can share my life with them, and that it wouldn't be uncomfortable for them, and someone who could share their life with me in turn.
She nods. And she's not like pushing like out of like malice. She's definitely like, I can see that you are struggling with this. I happen to be someone who is happy to have this conversation, knowing both of them.
Yeah.
You get the feeling that she's everyone's therapist a lot of the time. She's given off that her ear has been bent a lot. And she kind of nods her head and she pours herself a cup of, sadly, water. She kind of looks at it. Sighs. It's just warm water and she just drinks it. I'll just pretend it's coffee. Well,
Coffee another time.
Perhaps a time when I don't need to be useful.
Useful. How about helpful?
Clear-headed, really. It's not that it's not that I like go crazy. It's not even that I like am not useful. It's that I will definitely just dart up to the school and into the school and then all of the things.
There's a part of me that would like to see that, but I think if we're going to walk right into the school, we need to make sure that it all goes well.
Maybe
I don't think
something.
there's a plan, but I wouldn't want to accidentally leave you behind in the school because you're zooming around because you have the zoomies.
Yeah, it's a lot like the Zoomies. Something lower stakes. I'm sure Olina will have 8 million plans when we get back.
Sure, I'm sure she will.
Anyway, it does seem like your mind's made up.
The saying no part. That part's hard.
I don't think she'll take it badly.
I don't think so either. But I still feel bad.
She kind of moves over next to you. It does suck to make hard choices. And I think it's a good sign that you feel bad. I hate to say it. It just means that you do care. No one was leading anyone on. It's just sometimes someone's a better fit.
Yeah, I do. And yeah.
Worst comes to worst, write it in a letter. I'll deliver it myself if you want me to.
Don't give her shit about it.
Oh, I wouldn't. No. no, I wouldn't give her shit about this. Believe it or not, I do actually like her. She's a good friend.
I believe it. I know sometimes people have that kind of relationship.
At the end of the day, we're both. It's just family.
Yeah. Elia's kids. Oh.
Yeah, all of them. All 8 million of us.
Sweetheart, hi Rowena. Hi Keith.
Alright. You guys come back out as you see Bones is sipping
What's the
from
vibe?
It's a vibe. Bones is sipping from a coffee cup.
What's in there? Spit it out. Give it to, now. What's in there? What are you drinking?
Hot water. I like to pretend sometimes. I don't know if
Corinne visibly relaxes.
I didn't know if your tea was herbal only or if it was like a black tea, so I decided just to stick with water.
I think there's a bit of both that we carry.
Yeah, there's a little bit of mint in it, but that shouldn't affect me too much.
Right. So are we ready?
Grim is just looking at Eliana.
Yeah, she's trying to recover from having teared up.
I'm looking at my inventory. I don't think Graham owned any handkerchiefs.
He does have access to prestidigitation, so I think she's actually using that to dry off her face.
Will drop into awakened mind. Tone is sort of gentle, and sort of deliberately playful. Would you like me to murder her? What did she say? Like clearly joking.
Eliana looks over to Grim and grunts at them. Something that I think is helpful.
Still via awakened mind, because I do have the scimitar. I think I could not succeed before Corinne stopped me, but I'm willing to try.
I kind of want to see you try.
Out
This is an
loud.
entirely one-sided conversation, of course.
Yes. Grim is now out loud. I didn't see that coming.
Right, so we're not
Are we ready?
not gonna act
The
like
other
that's
hand, I kind of don't, but
super suspicious.
I will go get the horses, and definitely not use a sword, and we'll go back inside immediately.
Use a sword? Bones looks confused.
Talk about it later.
Grim will indeed. Are the horses already saddled?
Yeah, they're ready for you.
I could have done that myself. To the air, and then we'll lead the gentle horses outside, but we'll not lead Duncan outside.
Corinne will go retrieve Duncan.
Fair.
And Grim will thank her via Awakened Mind.
Wait, we're not going to... I thought we'd keep them here and then check out the school and then come back for them.
They'll take us much more seriously if we're riding.
Oh, that's true.
Also,
Because
I
if-
needed to walk away, and I needed an excuse for it.
Well, Corinne is wearing a "we will talk about this later" expression.
Grim is putting the breakfast stuff away while holding with one hand while holding Heather's reins with the other hand.
Bones genuinely looks baffled. She's just like, I don't... you know what? I'm going to admit it that I don't know what the hell is going on this morning.
You're not the only one. All I know is that one made reference to a sword, and absolutely should have no business using a sword.
Grim just wraps the last mug wrapped very lightly against the hilt of their scimitar and finishes putting it away and stands cheerfully. Are we ready then?
Oh, that's actually that's a fairly decent sword. I enjoy scimitars. I prefer Golux, and she'll pull out a sword kind of shaped like a scimitar, but shorter and stockier. Definitely, like, one of these weapons came from the other.
Oh, I am certainly not allowed to know that exists.
Absolutely not.
Swing up onto Heather and begin bribing her with a sugar cube to pick up her head and stop eating grass.
This... I never saw the appeal of weapons that much.
Golux are really handy, and she'll mount her horse, and she mounts it in the same strange way of, like, just jumps on the horse.
Yep.
So is fire.
True. I suppose if my father had survived and I had gone to had proper schooling like I was supposed to, I definitely would have gone to wizard school.
It's not too late, is it?
Kind of is. I'm a bit nailed down to this lifestyle.
Sounds awfully boring anyway.
For what it's worth,
Mounts the horse.
I'm still a scholar. I'm still published, at least.
Then he gets on her horse. What are your publications?
I have a book on anthropology and a book on linguistics, the history of Draconic.
Oh. So you haven't done the murder mysteries yet?
Oh, I've done a couple of those, yeah. Passive income is always worth it, and the scholarly works don't make as much. Would you like copies? I can get you them.
I would love copies.
I'll get you a copy when I'll get you a couple of them when we get back in Waterdeep.
For some people, it's romances. For me, it's murder mysteries.
They're not traditional, but I'm hoping that if I affect the genre enough, we might change how we handle our suspects.
Oh, how so?
I'd like to see a focus, and this conversation obviously happens as you guys are moving.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Corinne has taken off, like, long before this conversation got started.
Sure.
Also wouldn't stand for just standing around and talking while we're on a mission day and we're on a timeline.
No. I tend to prefer, not combat, like, when the detective, like, does weird, borderline evil shit. I hate that so much. Like, when they're... I prefer someone use their mind to kind of figure things out and, like, use their social skills to make a connection with witnesses in order to, get the truth out of someone, rather than, like, Dark and stormy night, a dame strolled into my office, blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, they immediately, they find a witness and they punch the truth out of them. Like, that ever works. It never works. It's terrible technique. Terrible. But, of course, then every new detective on the City Watch is like, oh, well, it worked in the books, so I'm gonna punch the truth out of someone. It's just genuinely awful.
It is.
Anyway, I tend to lean towards, using logic and interesting twists and turns in my books in hopes that someone would be like, oh, maybe notes. Maybe taking notes and paying attention to what people are saying is the actual key to solving mysteries.
Teaching the new recruits good lessons, then.
I generally am not.
Via fiction.
I'm hoping that, if you change the idea of what it means to be a detective, then that will change the approach of our new recruits. Change society, as it were. It's
Amazing.
really, really pretentious as hell now that I say it out loud.
Oh, but stories do affect the world.
I think so. Anyway, I think the only people that have read my actual non-fiction is Reg. And Alina, Alina read it when she said that when she can't sleep, she reads it.
Grim is mostly affecting not listening, but definitely chokes on a laugh. Chokes on a laugh.
Sure thing. As you all head to the school. Doesn't take long to get there. Oh, I didn't even have you guys on the right map, for fuck's sake. This is what you were supposed to be looking at.
Ooh, spooky woods.
Now this is what you're gonna see. Just nothing.
Dynamic lighting strikes
Yeah.
again.
No, this is Fog of War. It's on purpose.
Oh,
Okay.
never mind.
Should we be putting our tokens on there or no?
No, you don't need to.
Okay.
It'll be a reveal area, as I'm guessing if Roll20 ever lets you reveal the area, when you have reveal area highlighted and clicked instead of hiding area. Ooh, I see. Maybe a courtyard or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
As I hopefully do
Oh,
this
there's
correctly.
more things. Ooh, outdoors.
That...
Oh, is that the kitchen garden?
Yep.
Home of the famous potatoes?
Home of the famous potatoes.
The famous
Agree to
potatoes.
disagree. This kid.
Alright. So that's the... So... Do tread lightly on jokes on the map, because I I made this myself for the first time.
Oh, no, it looks like it. I would not have guessed.
Yeah, I did not in fact go with a pre-made map. I made a map myself.
Ooh.
It looks really good.
It does.
Thank you. I'm not very good at map making, so this is like the one area where I was like, I can't find what I want.
I mean, it has a garden, it has doors, it has walls, it has grass. It looks great.
And those are windows.
You were not present for my map attempt for Bikini Werewolf, which was literally just a bunch of squares thrown together. That was the setting for every single thing that happened.
I appreciated the commitment to not working too hard on something that didn't require a lot of work for that game. But this is yay.
But I figured you guys would probably spend at least a game here, if not a couple of them, so... Alright, you get to the front doors, which are here.
Okay, so arriving from the east.
Yeah.
And very cool.
Nice.
Is there any... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, as we're approaching, is there any sign, is there any sign of activity, people outside? visible people, and like basically does it?
Yeah.
What do we see as we approach? Is really how we should have asked the question.
As you approach mid-morning, there are actually like students around. Like people are moving around, and you see, unlike the children, the wild feral children in the woods, these kids are like have like crisp tunics on, uniform pants, well-shined boots. They definitely look put together. Like the girls, or actually really everyone with long hair has it kind of pulled back off the collar. Like it definitely, like, there is a uniform look for this place. And there's like a mix. It's a mix of races. Like anyone you could find in Waterdeep, there's definitely people around who look like that. Male, female, they're all dressed exactly the same. They all kind of have the exact same look to them. Most of them are... The youngest person you spot looks like maybe 7 or 8. Like, fairly young. But that doesn't seem common. It looks like it's mostly in the, 10 to 15-year-old range. And they're kind of bustling about. They're heading from the dormitories to the main building or back. Occasionally swapping notes. A couple people are talking about, researching in the library, things like that.
Any adults visible?
Not immediately. Not outside, at least.
As we're approaching and getting closer, and Corinne will just, oh, this is delightful! Oh, look at all those little uniforms! It's so wonderful! Oh my gosh, they match and they're so clean! This is... Oh. The Hawkwinters were absolutely right. This is impressive. Hello?
Joanna is doing her best to remain impassive and to smile politely. Let's see how this turns out.
Yeah, Bones needs to roll a saving throw to, like... Oh no, it's bad. Bones immediately, let's have a startled look at Corinne, like when you sneak up on a cat. There's even, like, a little trill of, like, what the fuck just happened?
Grim, who was equally like. Actually, I'm gonna see if there's any more reaction. No, they're fine. That like there was a look of surprise and with the slow blink, and then they realized what was going on. Will drop into awakened mind to Bones. She does this. It's all right. Play along.
Sure. She just kind of nods a little bit, and yeah. As you all approach, let me grab a token. Yeah, sure, you can do. Today is not Vecna. Today is a teacher.
That does not fill me confident.
It's not Vecna.
It's the token I use for Vecna just happens to be on the top of my library, so I was like, I need a teacher face.
It's a good token. But it's
a really good token, but like, yeah. I know Hannah's like, that's fucking Vecna right there.
Very sus.
They will meet you. He will meet you at the door.
Ooh, are you the headmaster here?
No. I'm Professor Danan, and he offers a hand.
Professor, she extends her hand. Professor Danan, lovely to meet you. My name is Corinne Eleanor Regina Amcapra of the Waterdeep Amcapras. This is my personal assistant, pointing to Bones, my bodyguard, pointing to Grim, and my personal poet. I find I need inspiration on the road when I'm traveling. I have heard so much about your school from the Hawkwinters, who, actually through my sister, who is one of the Fyland family members. She was telling me about the Hawkwinters' contributions, and I just thought, oh my god, I have to see this place for myself. It sounds wonderful, the work you're doing. Who's the appropriate person to speak to about sponsorship and potentially a tour?
He kind of blinks a little bit. Like he's not used to so many words being directed at him. And Inclines has said, I can definitely give you a tour.
It'd be lovely. Oh, please. And she waves the rest of the group, and then puts, please take notes, assistant. That would be, we'll need those for review later when we're looking at the deposits.
Bones nods.
Yes, and I'll need notes in order to write my poetry for you.
Yes, of course. I want to be inspired. Just like closes her eyes on her horse and like extends her hands. Like, imagine like heavy goop influencer.
Oh yeah,
vibes.
No, we just watched Knives Out. I know exactly. Yep. Joni.
Yep.
Yep. Bones just dismounts from her horse in a normal way. Like, she's watched you all dismount and has figured out that one does not simply jump off a horse, then tuck and roll. And inclines her head. Right. We should make sure Mistress, we should definitely make sure the horses are taken care of. And Professor Denon kind of waves his hand. We'll see to the horses. And he snaps his fingers out, points to two students, and they immediately come forward. Will you take care of Lady Youngcathra's horses, please? Both of them nod sharply. Yes, sir.
Corinne dismounts. Oh, so charming. Excellent. Thank you. What are your names, dear ones?
They blink and they look at Professor Dannon, who kind of, like, gives them a go on look. And, there's two young men. One is like, I'm Averos, this is Will.
Averos and Will, lovely to meet you. I know that you'll take the best care of Duncan here. I absolutely put my faith in your hands.
Right, yes, mister. I used to be a groom, so, yeah, I got it. And he takes the reins for your horses, and with the help of his friend, leads them away.
The students here are quite attentive.
Professor Dannon nods. Yes, we aim for our students to be invested in their studies, and part of that is proper discipline, and it doesn't work if they don't care about their own futures, of course. They have to be...
Of course not.
They have to want to change.
Oh, absolutely. The desire is the first thing that you must address before being able to progress forward into building character of good citizens.
Quite correct. Would you like to see our library?
I would love that. Yes, please lead on.
And he will lead you into the building. So you're led into a large entry hall, and the entry hall is fairly sparse. There's a large staircase heading up. Everything is made of stone. There's these stone tables in the corners that have lanterns on them, but are otherwise kind of left empty. There's an empty umbrella, stand over here near a door. And there's a pair of double doors that lead to the back. Let me just make sure that's all visible. There we go.
Yeah, it all looks good.
Okay. And he leads you. He kind of heads in and takes an immediate turn to the left to show you the library.
Oh, this is wonderful. How often do your students spend time here? Is it sort of they come and go as they please, or do they have dedicated study hours here? What does that look like?
Well, we don't find a need to enforce dedicated study hours. Usually we'll find a few students here during their downtime. Classes are happening at the moment, and the weather is nice today, so some of the students are taking advantage of that and heading into some sort of physical training, preferably. Must keep the mind sharp as well as the body. So.
Of course. Yes. Corinne nods like very earnestly. Absolutely, yes.
And you do notice there's a couple of students there in the library. And it's a modest library, but it is still a significant library for a school of this caliber.
I think my lady might like to observe class.
Yes, thank you for the reminder. Would that be possible, or would that be too much of an imposition?
I think that could be arranged. He kind of looks thoughtful, as if, like, trying to figure out who he could give you, who he could, whose class he might be able to, put you guys in.
Mm-hmm.
I think, oh, good lord, some of these tokens are terrible.
It's all right. Just pick Strad.
Just picture.
Super fine.
But he nods a little bit. Yes, perhaps Professor Olakan has some availability.
Professor Olacon, what class is that?
Would be basic history.
Oh, it's very important to know where you come from. First rule of history is that if you don't learn it, you're doomed to repeat it.
That's true. And he will lead you up the stairs to the second floor. And, you know what? There we go.
As we've been going through the school, is there anything that looks unusual about the layout? Corinne, I don't think is like actively looking for that, but like with her passive perception, would she have noticed anything that looks unusual?
Sure. You don't see anything immediately that sticks out. All of the insides seem to line up with the outsides and what you had kind of seen when you peeked in. Everything looks fairly on the up and up. What the fuck are you doing, Roll20? Roll20 is being a dick. Nothing looks... Sorry, the map keeps jumping on me while I try to move this token.
Not helpful map.
Rude.
That's why he keeps...
This is why we're breaking up with you, Roll20.
It knows it's acting out.
I literally can't move him to the second floor because for some reason the map is just like, no.
Roll 20Y.
I think it's...
Just
I think it thinks I'm having computer issues. It thinks I'm holding down a key or something.
Mm.
mm.
Alright. Hopefully that fixed it. Alright. Maybe. Let's try to move a token. Alright, hey, it worked.
Yay!
Alright, as he leads you upstairs to a classroom.
And this, just to make sure, this in the middle is this is staircase.
That's the staircase.
Fabulous,
up.
thank you.
Yep. You led to looks like a square. Everything's very square and very symmetrical. You notice that there's nothing like aggressively unstrange. Like it's not like they've moved into a building that they took over and there's like the weird spots and gaps and corners that just didn't quite match up. You know, like when you've seen like Victorian houses that got split for apartments and they're all like a little odd shaped. Like you see a lot of that in the older buildings that get adapted from something else to be a reform school. It looks like this was specifically built and aggressively normal.
Delightful.
As he leads you to a classroom. He gives a knock on it. Professor Olakan, are you available? The woman's voice answers. Yes, I am. I was just about to start my lesson, and you see that there's 2 students at each of these desks here. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 students are in her classroom. And they all appear to be varying age. And he's like, oh, there's some visitors who were hoping to observe you.
And pops her head like in the doorway and waves, "Hello! I hope you don't mind."
You see her. She's a middle-aged woman, kind of red hair, pulled back into a tight, like a really aggressively tight knot. She's actually, you see both Professor Dannon and Professor Olicon are dressed similar to the students in forms of style, but they're wearing, instead of green tunics, they're wearing dark blue tunics.
Okay.
But like, it looks like they're being held to the same standards as far as, like, looks go. Like, they're, like, everything is well cut, well tailored, well put together, clean, like, pants, you can see you can see the creases in them, like,
Mm-hmm.
precision. Well, if you can find a space, and she kind of motions you all in.
I don't mind. I'll stand. And she kind of sweeps into the room to the opposite corner from the door, at the front of the classroom, and just like very eagerly stands in the corner and just like looks at the students and then waves with both hands at them. Hello, aren't you all adorable?
They look confused at you. But the teacher's like, just kind of waves you off almost seems to brush you off a little bit as she continues her lecture on. It's very basic. Like, this is how the government in Waterdeep works. We're talking like elementary school history type deal.
Yeah, like here's what the legislative branch is.
Yes.
And here's the executive branch. And this one makes the da 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 da.
Yeah. But despite being aggressively, like, and she drones, like, this is not, oh man, this is not a class that you would have been able to pay attention in or stay awake in. But all of the students sit at rapt attention and are taking notes. They're just notes upon notes upon notes upon notes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one is drifting off, there's no spitballs, there's no one sleeping in the back of the classroom, like, no one's talking, no one... With your passive, if someone was passing a note in this class, you would see it. There is nothing.
Sorry, Digby has some that he wants to do.
Hi, friend.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, that startled me a little bit. I was like, oh wow, I didn't mean to be him.
Oh, that's our singing dog.
Digby is also concerned about the students.
Yes. Y'all done? All done. Good boy.
I think Grim is having trouble staying like.
Oh yeah.
Like Grim is definitely having trouble paying attention. Like there's a lot. Like they're posted up on the wall near Karen, doing their neutral mysterious thing, but they're definitely like.
It's a struggle.
There's a lot of weight shifting going on.
Occasionally, if there's like recitation that happens at all, like Corinne will occasionally join in with the recitation.
Yeah, and there is a good amount, as people they're definitely required to memorize certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it goes fairly easily. No one acts up or causes any distress, or the students seem very invested in their learning, which is suspicious as hell.
Yeah.
It's super fine.
Is Bones
That's
taking
fine.
notes?
I mean, she's definitely taking notes. Like, she's got her pen out and she is taking notes. It's whether or not it's about what's being taught, who knows?
Yeah, I think Grim is no, they're not gonna cast anything. They really want to try to read some minds and find out if this is as creepy as it looks, but 2 spell slots, so they're not going to.
Sure thing.
Aliana is kind of and she's taking a few notes, not a whole lot.
And Corinne just continues to lean into the fascination of this entire operation.
Yeah, and sure enough, the class goes by completely uneventfully. A bell tolls out across the building, and Professor Olakan kind of closes her book, puts it down, and goes, "Thank you, everyone, for your attention and diligence today." And you hear the students in unison respond, "Thank you for your lesson, Professor Olakan," before standing and filing out.
When they file out, do they seem to file out in any particular order?
Like single
Like, is it
file.
a small?
Like
Is it like shortest to tallest or oldest to youngest or anything?
So-
anything obvious?
No. It's literally, but it's very organized in that like the students from this desk stand up and file out, and then by the time that they have cleared the desk, this group is filing out, and then this group, and then this group, like
So creepy.
it's aggressively organized and.
Corinne will turn to Professor Olakon. That was riveting work. Oh my goodness, I'm so... Oh, such well done. Are they usually this attentive to their lessons? Everyone has seemed so very focused.
Yes, we've worked a great deal on getting the students to be invested in their own education, and I feel like that makes all of the difference. And some of these students, they have a lot to catch up on in order to be able to be a functioning member of your society. So.
Oh, of course, yes. It's important to bring that to the standard level. What do they do after they matriculate?
I suppose whatever they would like to. We don't have any... It's not like the Cartwright School for Cartwrights where we train them in a specific field. While I am certain they are doing good work there. She looks a little dismissive. We prepare students for any number of futures that might be ahead of them. More generalized education.
Oh, excellent. What are some examples of the things alumni have gone off to?
We've not had a graduating class yet. We're still fairly new.
Oh, yes, that's right. Oh, forgive me. You get the pamphlets from so many different finishing schools. It's difficult to keep them all straight. Excellent. Thank you so much. This has been very informational.
Oh, I'm happy to help. And she kind of looks over Bones. I hope your notes were sufficient. Bones nods. Yeah, no, I didn't get a formal education, so, filling in the gaps. And just
We've brought her so far.
gives her a cheeky grin, and the professor's like, you get the feeling, like, the vibe of, like, instant daggers, like, when the anime characters see each other across the screen, and, like, the little lightning bolts pop up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's that vibe.
Amazing. Where has our tour guide gone off to?
He went back to... He did not stay for the lesson, but he comes back after the bell rings.
Thank you. It was very informational. Thank you so much. Where else? Might we be able to see the cafeteria, perhaps the dining hall, where the students are eating? And is there a meal that we can observe?
Lunch is a bit far out yet, but there is a dining hall is open if you'd like to go see it.
Yes, that would be lovely. Thank you.
And he'll lead you back down the stairs. We find that with many of our students, they've not had access to regular meals for a long time, so we tend to keep the dining room open for extended periods of time while we have new students, but we don't have any new students currently. Usually after a week or two, they adjust. And I'm
Understood.
not so...
How frequently are you bringing in new students?
The first of the month is usually when we bring in a new batch of students. And he will bring you to the dining room. 4 tables set up, organized and a head table. There's a fireplace in the middle of the room and a door in the back. The room gets a lot of natural light. It is, while it's not a pretty room, there's not a lot of decoration in here. It looks like most of the decoration comes from the view from the outside. But there's not a lot of distraction in here, or like, some old halls have like just all sorts of just everything on the wall that you can think of. This has kind of bare walls. As he leads you in. This is our dining hall. It's not currently in use, but the students eat in shifts, of course. We're currently running up with our current population. It's a little too large to have everyone eat at once, but usually we run first shift, second shift, and third shift for lunches.
Ren nods, kind of like looking very focused on what he's saying. And what do the meals typically consist of?
Usually there is a protein, a carbohydrate, and usually some sort of fresh fruit or vegetable. We have our own garden on site, which we use to supplement the meals with fresh fruit and vegetables as we can. The garden is tended by student volunteers.
Wonderful skill to learn. I wish I was a better gardener. It's just, where does one find the time?
Well, when you find connection with nature, when you find connection with nature, there's really no end of inspiration that can come from it.
Oh, it's so true. That's why I send you out to do my forest bathing. You do such a good job at it. Just the work that you produce after a forest bathing session is just inspired.
Right. So, our kitchen is this way. He leads you back. Like, he doesn't even know what to do with forest bathing. Like, he's like...
the only one.
like, if you could find an opposite of El Rey, it's this gentleman. He's just like... heads this way, and shows you to the kitchen. Or doesn't show you to the kitchen. Roll 20 decides that you don't get to see the kitchen.
It's a secret.
No kitchen for you.
Roll 20 still trying to recover from forest bathing.
Roll 20 is equally as confused. And he leads you to the kitchen, kind of stands in the corner here, motions around.
Is that a trapdoor that he has stood himself upon?
Yep.
Oh,
As he motions around, it's a fairly small kitchen. There's a large stove. It looks like there's a cutting board out with some food that's being prepared. A wash basin in the corner. This is where most of our food preparation is done. And you notice that this place, like, the last call has a clean kitchen. This place has, like, an aggressively clean kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you drop food on this floor, you could just lean down and, like, pick it up. Like, this food, like, despite there being a stone floor, it has a shine to it. Like, everything is aggressively clean.
Is there's not like a vat of oatmeal or something being cooked at this moment in time, is there?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
alas.
Not a notoriously long cooking food oatmeal.
But a tragedy.
As he kind of motions around. We find that keeping a clean kitchen is one of our highest priorities.
Very important standard to set.
Many of our students come from less fortunate circumstances, and he kind of looks at Bones, and Bones just, like, arches an eyebrow at him. Everyone's picking on the tabaxi. And he kind of motions, and as such, food cleanliness is the first part of getting to getting them on the program. If one is not healthy, one cannot participate in their own betterment.
Absolutely, I fully agree. Standards here are impeccable, and she kind of runs a finger across a countertop, just as like the standard inspection for cleanliness.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it's clean. He nods. Our cook has high standards, and we have student volunteers clean the kitchen after every meal as part of their training program.
Wonderful. And do those students go on to become apprenticed in kitchens, typically?
They could be. It's an option open to them. If the cook takes a shining to them, I'm sure they could get a letter of recommendation if that's what they wanted to do.
Indeed. Kind of like looking around, admiring the pristine conditions.
And this is a door. This door leads back to the kitchen gardens, which I'm sure you saw coming up.
Oh yes, they're quite lovely. What sort of plants do you and vegetation do you grow?
Oh, normal things: potatoes, herbs, various root vegetables, hearty things, lettuce, the like.
Yes, of course.
Often for often many of the faculty keep smaller gardens in their offices, which they use to grow whatever they might need for their morning tea, or he just kind of shrugs. Any delicacies they might like personally.
Yes, of course. How did you find the school here? What's your background?
Oh, I studied in Neverwinter. I was at the university there, and I saw an ad asking for teachers to teach at this new school. I came, I visited, I saw the tour like you are seeing now. I thought the program would be a good fit for me, so I applied. My background is in common and language arts.
Ah, is that what you teach here?
Yes.
My gut is like, I want to roll an insight check, but I don't know want to.
If it will, I don't know if this will help at all, but Grim will drop into Awakened Mind to Corinne. Ask him how long he has been here, please.
All right. And then she looks up at the professor and says, "Oh, how long ago was that you started?"
2 years ago.
Wow. Grim will send a feeling of surprise and suspicion.
Let me see. I want to roll insight to see if there's a possibility that we are not being told the entire truth of how this guy came here.
Sure.
21.
Mm-hmm. Someone very strong stole my good die.
Nice, Goblin.
Alright, it seems that the words are truth. Like, he is telling you the quite literal truth. But he's not doing it very passionately or with, like, he is answering your literal questions.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not, you notice he's not volunteering information. He's not like, oh, and then I did this, and then I did this, and this is my specialty program. Like a lot of like people that you know like him tend to drone on about how awesome they are and what they're good at, but he seems to be like, nope. I came, I took a tour, I applied, I got hired. I have been working here 2 years.
Oddly
Not an
specific.
academic.
Oddly specific vibe check. Does it seem like he's also being mind controlled by oatmeal?
I was.
Sure.
I love this.
Please roll me a check to see if the professor is being mind controlled by oatmeal.
I love this so much.
Yeah. I'll just insert to see what happens. Oh no!
That's fitting, but I don't know if it's disappointing or not. It's both disappointing and delightful at the same
no
time.
Clue.
It is. This is just what happens when you try to insight something that's impossible.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it.
Oh man.
Grim
Yeah.
was also is not wondering about oatmeal specifically, but was also trying to wondering if this sort of behavior seems like absence of personality, or if it seems like learned military precision.
Learned
But
apathy
we've already had two insight
roll,
checks,
'cause
so I don't.
You're
okay.
checking for something different. Like if everyone is checking for the same thing, like you guys are checking around the same things, but not exactly the same thing. So
Okay.
I'll let it happen.
Luck. Oh! Went from a nat 1 to a nat 20. 26.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, he's not an easy read. So it's you can't tell for sure. There's definitely a marked lack there, though. You can't tell for sure if it's because of, learned apathy or learned control, or if it's from some other more devious circumstances, but it's a thing is definitely like a choice that is happening.
Okay.
Whether it's his choice or someone else's choice, but it's a choice.
Okay. In that event, I would like to ask for a quick DM ruling on. So Grim would like to cast Detect Thoughts, but is not going to do it if they can't do it without it being. If they're confident they can do it without it being noticed. It does have verbal somatic material components.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately,
so
with it being verbal and somatic, then
That's
like if
how
it was
it's
just a material component, I would let you do it on the sly. But yeah.
Okay, extremely fair. Good to know. Thank you. Then Grim will just continue to stare at this guy from behind their eye patch and bangs, and will not otherwise intervene at this point.
Sure.
Other than we'll drop into Awakened Mind. First to Corinne, she's talking, then Eliana, then Bones. Same message for everyone. I do not think I am saying anything that you do not already know, but there is something quite wrong with this individual. That's all.
Aliana does not outwardly react. She's putting on her best, thinking about Cloud's face.
Right, so, what other facilities are there here? Is there somewhere where the students can express their creativity? I've often found that the value of creativity is just, it lends so much to the universal experience, and it's such an important key to education. I have my own poet, for God's sake. Please, must be part of the curriculum.
He kind of frowns deeply and shakes his head. While you wouldn't discourage creativity, we don't have anything formal directed to something like that. We choose to be less regimented and structured around items of creativity.
So does that mean that you provide those resources and not? I'm sorry, that was a bit unclear.
We don't currently have any dedicated resources for that. No.
Oh, is that something you would consider including into the curriculum?
We certainly could, if those resources were provided.
Oh, of course, it's something I would consider donating towards. Who do I speak to about the curriculum? Would that be the headmaster? Are they around? I'd love to meet them.
Currently they are away. I believe there's a fundraiser happening shortly in Waterdeep that they have been pressed to attend.
Oh, it's quite a tragedy. Perhaps we could make it back in time, though. That was on my calendar. I was hoping to be back for that. Right.
The representative.
Go ahead.
The representative of the school there would be the best person to talk to about donations.
Excellent. Perfect. Is there anywhere else among the school that we should see? We've seen a classroom, we've seen the dining hall, we've seen the kitchen. What else? And she kind of looks at the rest of her entourage.
Grim is leaning hard into their Dockward accent. The dormitories, milady.
Yes, of course, the dormitories. And turns back to the professor. Might we be able to give a tour of the dormitories? I understand if there are students there, I wouldn't want to impose. But if they're in class right now, perhaps.
Sure, I can lead you to the dormitories. And he heads out.
Which way is he taking us out, please? Or specifically, actually, the real question is, are we going to walk past a wall that, based on Dreda's explanation, is likely the headmaster's office?
So, based on Dreda's explanation, this is the wall against the headmaster's office.
Delightful.
This is the wall. This is where the headmaster's office is. It's
excellent. So then, Grim will, as we're sort of as the group is beginning to file out, will sort of do a lap around the kitchen, just sort of pretending to do a closer inspection. Is going to ghostly gaze. Would like to look through the wall into the headmaster's office, and also would like to look down to the floor.
Oh, I had not prepared for that.
Surprise!
I love it so much. Oh no! Hold on, I gotta get a token out.
Oh no!
I hadn't prepared for you to go look through the thing. Alright, hold on.
Relax.
Alright, sorry. Hold on.
I often forget that they have this ability.
I'm glad you remembered now, because this sounds like it's gonna be really cool.
The most satisfying sound in the world is a DM just going like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, that's what you're doing. So you just take a peek in this office, and it seems like a mostly normal office, except for the mind flayer in the middle of it.
Sorry. Holy shit.
So yeah.
Okay. Grim does not think about looking down to the floor after
Don't
that.
worry. As you look at it, almost sensing your gaze.
Oh no.
Turns to look at you. You're an
no.
You're an Eldritch Warlock, right?
Gulak, yes.
Yeah.
Great old one.
Yep. So he turns his attention to you. You see his tentacles waving lightly as he observes you.
Oh.
On that note, we're gonna call it for tonight.
Oh shit.
Oh my god!
Oh, this is certainly a thing that just happened.
Oh my god! Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I was like, oh, maybe they'll find some the weird slugs or the things here and there. Just look at the principal's office. I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
Are we happy?
Oh.
Wow.
Wow.
What a way to, like, wow!
This is fine.